The Knicks just traded for Karl Anthony Towns. I was going to go live and talk about something else. I may still go live after this. We'll see. But then this popped up on my phone right as I was about to go on. And I was like, hold on. We got to talk about this. I am shocked. The Knicks just traded for Karl Anthony Towns. Like, there is so much to discuss. It's funny because it's been rumored for a couple of years that the Knicks wanted to trade for Karl Anthony Towns. And it actually happened. Should I start off from the Knicks standpoint? Because I feel like there's a lot of Knicks fans right now having mixed emotions. So let's start from their perspective. So the trade that happened officially so far is that it's going Cat to the Knicks for DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and a first-round pick from Detroit. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. I know some of you may like this trade. I don't get it. Every time this has been brought up, I have repeatedly said I don't think Cat is the best fit with the Knicks, although I could see them trading for him, and they did. Like, I guess if I had to pick a place where he would have went, it would have been the Knicks, but I don't get this trade. Now, I literally talked about it on the live stream the other day when the Knicks were supposedly targeting Nick Richards. And I thought that made sense because they need another center because Isaiah Hartenstein left. So I guess this is their way of getting another center. And someone like Cat, you know, to be fair, he is a big man who can shoot the three and stretch the floor. So I guess that is appealing to the Knicks. And technically it gives them another center on the roster and someone who obviously, you know, can play basketball. So like it's a quality center. But I don't know. I thought Julius Randle would fit fine. But maybe they did this trade because of the Mikal Bridges thing. I'm not sure. Because let's think about it. Mikal Bridges, okay, so there was questions this whole summer that once they brought in Mikal Bridges, how is Randle going to fit? Because essentially, Julius Randle will be playing the 5 at some, you know, point during that lineup. Because I would have, I guess, okay, so I thought the starting lineup would be Mikal at the 2, OG at the 3, Randle 4, and then Mitch at the 5. But if Mitch wasn't there, for example, Randle would be at the 5. You slide everybody down. OG at the 4, Mikal at the 3, and then DiVincenzo or Josh Hart at the 2. So maybe they did this because they really just thought Julius Randle wouldn't fit alongside Mikal Bridges and that there wasn't enough ball to go around. I don't know, but Cat is someone who needs the ball too, so I don't get that. And DiVincenzo was one of their most important players last year, so I really don't get including him in the trade now. I'm sure he had to be included probably due to salary reasons. And, well, actually, I think Julius Randle's salary is kind of similar to Cat's, so maybe they didn't need him for that. I'm not sure. I haven't gone that far deep into it yet because it just happened. But if it wasn't for salary purposes, and if it was because Minnesota wouldn't do the deal without DiVincenzo, I'm saying no to the deal then. And a first-round pick? That's too much. Like, you're giving up too much. Maybe I'm being a little unfair here to Cat. But I have said this. I know for a fact that I said I didn't like the Gobert and Cat pairing on Minnesota. I felt like it was not the best fit, and I felt like it was time to move on from Cat because I felt like Gobert fits better with Ant than Cat. So Minnesota understood that too. And again, maybe I'm being a little unfair on this trade because it just happened and this is my initial reaction. I just don't think it's the best trade. I know that Cat has been coached by Tibbs before, so obviously there is that connection there. I get that. You're also breaking up the Villanova crew. Like, how could you do that? Overall, I guess it's not the worst trade, right? Like, maybe I'm being a little dramatic. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm not sure I get this trade. Did they just not want to pay Randle? Because remember, Randle is due for some money coming up soon. And I don't know how many years Cat has left on his deal, but he has a couple. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rating this trade, by the way, because DiVincenzo is out, or he, you know, is traded, Deuce, Miles McBride's going to get a lot more minutes. So shout out to him because he earned them last year. And maybe that's also why they were okay with giving up DiVincenzo, because they knew that Miles McBride, well, they're expecting him to take another step forward, so that may also be part of the reason. But on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best trade, 1 being the worst trade, I'm going to give this a 5, right in the middle right now, because I gotta see it. I gotta see it. I don't know. I don't know if I would have done this trade if I was the Knicks, but like I said, it's not the worst trade I've ever seen, but here's my biggest issue. And then I'll talk about Minnesota because I don't want to, not talk about them as well. You're basically running the Twin Towers, as you call it again, that Minnesota just ran that did not work. While Mitchell Robinson and Gobert are not the exact same player, they have a lot of similarities, mainly being that they're both, known as good defenders, but they can't shoot and they're, mainly in the paint. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. Like, they are good at what they're good at. But it's going to be the same kind of pairing. Again, they're a little bit different players. I understand that. I'm not saying they're exactly the same. Mitchell Robinson was big time in the playoffs when he was healthy. I'm not saying Mitchell Robinson's not going to show up and do his thing. I'm just saying that two big man lineup didn't work. So I don't understand why they're trying it again, but listen, maybe they see something I don't see. Maybe again, I'm being too harsh. From Minnesota's side, I love this. And the reason is one of the things that I just said. I thought, as most people thought, the Gobert and Cat pairing wasn't a great fit. The two big men, and I just thought overall, like I said earlier, that Gobert fit way better with Anthony Edwards than Cat did, and I just felt like it was really time to move on. And so they did that, and I respect them for that. And I think DiVincenzo is an awesome, awesome pickup. We know what he did for the Knicks. Good defender, good three-point shooter, shows up in big moments, rebounds the ball, does all the little things, like a perfect person to add to that roster. Like, they couldn't have done much better as a secondary player, technically, because Randle is supposed to be the big name in the trade, than DiVincenzo. Like, awesome, awesome pickup. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Julius Randle, but I think he definitely fits better alongside Gobert than Cat did. So that, again, to me, is a big reason why this trade makes sense. Now, I'm not saying this makes them a championship contender. I do still feel like they need another player, and we do also have to see how Randle fits alongside Gobert because we haven't seen it, so it is a little bit unknown. I just think people underrate Randle a little bit just because his time in New York has been up and down, and so I feel like there is, criticism is fair. There should be some criticism, but I feel like there's some unfair criticism, and it's gotten to the point where people have not a clear view on what Julius Randle actually did for the Knicks, especially last year before he got hurt. Like, I suggest you go back and watch how he was playing alongside Brunson before he got hurt in January, because they were meshing perfectly well and he was playing some of the best basketball of his career. And so I'm just saying, I feel like there's a little bit unfairness towards him. And worst case scenario, even if it doesn't work out with Julius Randle, like I said, his contract is almost up, so they don't have to pay him. And you have time with Anthony Edwards. It's not like you have to win, tomorrow. But like I said, this also makes, even if, okay, let's just say as a whole, let's just say the trade, if we weren't talking about any team specifically, just Julius Randle for Cat, whether or not you actually like that trade, just in general, I'm saying the situation in which they were in makes it a better trade maybe than just generally speaking. So what I mean by that is, like I said, I think it was time for Minnesota to move on from Cat. And so I think bringing in Julius Randle, whether or not you agree he's a better player than Cat or a better fit at the moment, they needed to change something. They needed to switch it up. And so I think it makes sense to at least try something new with a player who has been an all-star, who was doing really good things last season, and has the potential to make your team better. So this is crazy, though.